Simon, we're going to be seeing a Genesect versus a Mega Ray, so this is going to be a very interesting matchup.
And I feel it's a very unexpected matchup. If people going into this Nationals, I do not think they were going to see Mega Ray and Metal at the
They did
finals.
not.
Yeah.
I could have possibly maybe considered Metal as one of the decks, but Mega Ray hasn't shown
Yeah.
in a while.
And he's actually undefeated. Now, you can say he did technically lose his first match because he showed up late, and that
Yeah,
may have
that's what
played
we're
into a big
told.
factor, but he's technically undefeated, which is pretty crazy. And I think
Yeah.
that's just because he came so far out of left field.
Right. I definitely think that it's very interesting. I mean, the big reason that Mega Ray hadn't seen so much success is that Night March just really, really, really hurts it. So with this tournament in general, it just didn't seem like there was that much Night March. And if there was, they ran into a lot of the decks that were teching against Night March, which everything really is seemed to be doing that now.
Yeah,
so.
every deck in format has pretty much come to the conclusion that you need an answer for Night March, and because of that, Night March has just fallen to the wayside in this Nationals.
So we see here, Kieran's going to start off, look like he had Sycamore, and he's going to go ahead and Battle Compressoring. Kieran definitely is going to play his deck a little bit different this game than he did last game. Last game he focused on minimizing his bench, and this game he's not worried about that at all. He's just looking to put all his Bronzogs down because he needs a lot of energy to be able to knock out a Mega Ray.
Yeah, that thing is going to be heavy. It's going to be hard to knock out, and it's going to be fast. It's going to start taking prizes really quick, and he's going to have to worry about putting down any EXs.
Correct. And if he doesn't have the ability to return knockout the Mega Ray is going to one-shot Genesect, and just if you can't return knockout the one-shot on the Mega Ray, he is going to one-shot another EX like right back to you. Kieran's big thing that he can use against this Mega Ray deck is Aegis Slash.
Yeah.
If he is able to get the Aegis Slash during the turn that Simon has a DC attached to his Mega Ray, that is going to be what Kieran's big focus is. But with Hex Maniac, is that really a play anymore?
I mean, it is in the fact that you're going to force him to play Hex, and you're going to force him to go for that Aegis Slash, which, if you play it right, you might be able to put your energies around in a different spot and then come hit him with something else. But you can't disregard the Aegis Slash. It is a threat, but you're right. With Hex, it's less of a threat.
Or if you just Lysanders around it. I mean, but we do see that Kieran did just go straight for the Aegis Slash. So
yeah. If you're Kieran, you can't ignore it. Yeah, you have to have it.
So I really wonder what will happen here. I mean, and easily, you never know, honestly, what we see here. That was very interesting. He got pretty much a lot of really good stuff. You see him set down another Bronzor, and he is really going to be set in the direction that he wants to be able to Metal Links 3 energy a turn. That would be super good for him.
Yeah, we see some float stones. I do see a Bronzor break. He does go for the elixir and hits. So that energy he's needing is showing up, which is going to be really great for him.
This is a very explosive turn 1 for Kieran. This is exactly what he wants to see come out of his deck.
Because we have seen Simon on stream earlier or yesterday, and both games he was explosive. His turn 1s went from a lone shaman to several Rayquazas. Yeah, to his whole deck.
But I mean, Simon's ideal deck is he plays 4 Shamans, I'm sure, and you have with Skyfield, you are drawing through everything.
And
did he play Max Elixirs yesterday as well?
Mega Turbos.
No, he meant Mega Turbos. Okay, that makes sense. So that's going to be really good for him, and he's going to get all his bench. He's going to be attacking quick, and he is not worried about weakness at all, so he just knows I need to do a lot of damage and just one-shot EXs and just sit back and kick it.
Yeah, and his one big threat being Zoroark disappeared last match, so because that's the one time Simon has to actually kind of think about his bench. Like, okay, maybe do I put 4 or 5 instead of putting all 8 down?
Right, for sure. And then Simon would have been taking single prizes versus a possible 2 prizes, so it would have been definitely a harder matchup for Simon. But this is going to be really good for both players. I think this is going to be a great finals for sure.
Yeah, and we do see Kieran getting the Aegis Slash out, so that is probably the best thing he could have left in the active. So he's pretty happy about getting that there, forcing. If Simon wants to do anything this turn, he's gonna have to Hex or Lysander.
And on your first turn, you don't want to start with a Hex. Or more than likely, you can't, right? You have to have the ability to play the Sycamore. You have to have the ability to play an N or some kind of draw supporters because, I mean, yes, he is going to have a lot of Shamans to play, but he's down 1, and, you're not going to get them all. Like
Right.
you would have to hit the nuts to get that. So.
And we're hoping that, like, he's hoping that his other shamans aren't prized. There's a lot that could be going against him right now, and Kieran's taking full advantage of that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was very smart for Kieran to do that for sure.
Oh, and we do see that Simon is putting up a target whistle. He is looking for them shaman. Easy prizes.
Easy prizes, and Simon's easily going to pick those up with the Mega Ray.
And you do see him hit the Hoopa off the setup.
Maybe, Simon might actually have the opportunity to go that turn one. He's not going to be able to. He's going to go and get these right now, but we're going to see if he has the extra shamans that he's looking for. Actually, we're not.
I think
he's
I saw him have
his deck very well there.
I think I saw him have one in hand, and he just grabbed another one. He does have Skyfield, so he is.
He does have them all.
Yeah, he's got his draw support ready to go, even without a Sycamore.
We might be seeing the turn one hex.
And that's going to be hard for Kieran to recover because he has the bronzes out, which is great, but he wants to put that energy on Egg Slash.
Yeah.
And not being able to is going to hurt.
And even then, like, if Simon does get this turn one knockout on the Aegis Slash, Kieran doesn't have the ability to one-shot back.
And he has 2 turns left because there are 2 Shaman on his board, and that's going to be a Lysander game.
Correct.
He's
going to go ahead and bench both of his... Oh, he was considering the... He's changing his mind on playing the third Rayquaza. Sees that he has an end, but he doesn't want to play that.
No, he's looking for that Hex or that Lysander.
Yeah. But one thing that I don't see that he had a Mega Ray in his hand, so he's really still drawing on a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I think he's just burning cards right now to make sure that next Shaman he plays is worth it. You do see him play the third Rayquaza.
He's just...
And he goes for the other Shaman.
But he's only getting 3 here.
And they were not what he was looking for.
They were not really that great. So he is going to actually not be using the attack this turn. But, he's definitely set up really good for next turn for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely not in a bad position. He's just not as good as he wants to be.
We see he is going to go ahead and get rid of that Hex, though, because he knows that he's going to have to use it this game.
Yeah, he's going to filter it out so that way he can get that VS Seeker and pick it right back up.
Correct.
I'm not seeing a Lysander. Which that would be pretty detrimental for prizes right now. Yeah, and I do not see it.
Very interesting. So he might, if he either plays only one and is prized, or if he does play 2, both are prized.
He's gonna have to really focus on that Hex.
Right, now it's turning right back into Kieran's favor. Yeah. Kieran's like, okay, so I'll just sit here with this and see you later.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave him in the active.
Yeah.
This is my temporary Jirachi, alright.
Yeah. So we see he's going to go ahead and get rid of the Skyfield. He knows that Kieran doesn't play any stadium, so he just doesn't want to draw into those. As you saw, Simon did play that Shaman and set up for 3. One of them was a Skyfield, and he's like, I don't need you anymore. I already have you out. So.
I was hoping to compress you away, and you're here in my hand. Yeah. He does have the Fire Injury. It'll be interesting to see if he elects to play it, because that just gives Kieran a good target.
At this point, I really don't know if Kieran would have to have... It depends on how many cards he has in his hand, which I'm not able to for sure tell. But if I was a player and I saw my opponent's hand and they had 4 cards in their hand, I'm going to assume that they're looking to use a supporter to draw and not a supporter to Lysander or target something from the bench. So, but Kieran does have the ability to now play 8 bench as well, so he might just have... He goes for Shamans,
a lot of
stuff. It's Shamans and Bronzong, so this is going to be a very interesting game for both of them. Simon, and particularly the Skyfield, is helping Kieran just as much as it's helping Simon. So
yeah, if Kieran can get out 3 Bronzongs, that's going to be crazy. That's a lot of energy.
And that's ideal for him.
Yeah.
He wants to see that. He wants to have that ability to attach all that energy.
We did see Simon hit a VS Seeker earlier, though, so that Hex in the discard is going to put a lot of work.
Yeah. We see he's looking to...
He just couldn't figure out what to compress.
Did he not? I thought he had already compressed 3, but he must have only had done 2, and it went back to his 3rd. But you see, he's going to go ahead and he's going to get rid of the Jirachi. He has no use in this. Kieran doesn't play any special energy.
And the other Skyfield.
Get rid of the Skyfield. Yeah, he doesn't want to eventually later in the game get end and have that be his card,
yeah,
and that be the reason he lost 2016 Canada Nationals. Like, that would be awful.
Yeah.
So you see, he's going to go ahead and get a Hoopa.
I'm going to pull out the last Shaman. And the Mega.
Get that Mega. He's actually going to look to just... He's going to
Manual,
Mega. It's not like he's attacking this turn, so...
No real threat.
Actually, he might. It depends on... He's got currently... He's got the 7 bench, so he actually might still hit this. I mean, well, he wouldn't be able to touch a DC, so he would have to get the Mega Turbos. But
He does hit the link, so he can continue his turn if he wants. Or he can just manually attach and keep the link for later.
yeah, I think that he already manually attached, so he's going to attach the link, and he's going to do that and go for the Shaman to try to draw more right here. He's looking to get this. If he gets 2 Mega Turbos here, no.
He does have 2 VS Seekers, though.
He's got the VS Seekers. He's got the DC for next turn. He literally is set up to do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And look at it. He's just going to sit back and be like...
He's smiling right there, like, oh, this is good.
I guess it's your turn, because I'm
gonna start.
I'm ready to go. Like,
Yeah.
what more do I need?
Now, I'm wondering if Kieran's gonna be able to read the fact that it looks like Simon has a good setup,
Yeah.
and if he's gonna take that Aegis Slash and just take it out of there.
One thing that Kieran does have, though, with Simon's deck is that Kieran would only have to attach the 3 energy to the Genesect, and if he has a Fighting Fury Belt attached to the Genesect, he's able to one-shot Shamans and not have to use any energy, and so it's going to be very interesting. If Kieran hits the VS Seekers in the right position, then... Oh, and it looks like Kieran
he
just
stuck
kind
to
of
pass. He doesn't have any Bronzongs on the bench. This is...
Wow. So we're looking to see here. Simon's calculating what he wants to do.
And he attaches the Floatstone to the Shaman to get it out of the active.
He's going to go ahead and attach... I guess he's trying to decide whether he wants to... He's going to touch and go ahead and just... He's going to hex.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to knock out that Aegis Slash.
The knockout out. So we see that... He's going to retreat. He hexed. Now, Kieran did make the misplay in the last set of games that he was under Hex Maniac lock and tried to use an ability set down the Shaman, so hopefully he won't do that this turn.
He does have his Genesect set up, though, with 3 energies, and he does have the Fury Belt in hand, so if he can set it up, he can start knocking out Shamans, but he's already 2 prizes behind. He needed that last turn.
And it looks like he's looking to possibly end this turn, so he's not even going to get the knockout this turn, so we're going to see what his choices are going to be here.
And this is one of those moments where, as you're building your deck, you have to look at the stadiums. You usually don't want to play them because they can't have dead draws, but in this situation, knocking Simon back down to 5 Pokemon would have been pretty huge.
It really makes a big difference, yeah for sure. He wouldn't be able to just be one-shotting and doing a whole bunch of explosive damage, and, that's really what Maker Ray does. It just is supposed to do a whole bunch of damage, and, that counter stadium really would make a difference with this. But again, nobody expected Mega Ray to show up.
Right.
Nobody would have thought, I will be here in the finals.
Against a Mega Ray.
Right? When people are making their strategies on what they're going to play or what deck choices they're going to make, they're not going to make a decision based off of, I wonder if I'm going to get against a Mega Ray, right? They're not going to make deck choices for that, so maybe I should play a stadium. So we'll see. This still is very interesting on what it's going to happen here, but I'm thinking that it's not going to be good for Kieran, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough uphill battle.
But if he does lose the first game, it's still best 2 out of 3. So he still has 2 games to go, and anything could happen.
Yep. And it looks like he's thrown up the Genesect, discarding the energies, and is going to put as much damage as he can.
Right. He definitely wants to do as much as he can.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to concede and go into game 2. You're going to try to play this out as much as you can.
For sure.
Get a feel for the deck, and see what plays you can make.
And he also did. He got him to 160, which is a good amount of damage on that Mega Ray. So he's going to be able to take the knockout next turn. So depending on what he promotes it to take the knockout with, could make a difference on what Simon's going to need. It's really going to come down to who gets the right cards and who doesn't.
And Simon having both those VS Seekers in hand is just huge. He's able to pull up any supporter he needs at the right time.
Right, but we don't know if he got the Lysander out of his prizes too, so that's really going to make a difference. Kieran's looking next turn, he's going to try to end him. And Simon's going to be down to 2 prize cards, so to get 2 cards is pretty good for Simon. Like, Simon's like, okay, I can take the 2 cards, 2 prizes, and I'm going to get end down to 2. Well, the issue is that Simon already used all of his Shamans, so it's not like he's going to be able to, if he gets an Ultra Ball, he'll have another card, and then he would draw a card for his turn, so he'd be able to Ultra Ball for his Shaman, but since he's already placed all his Shamans, that's not an option for him. He has to get cards that he's going to be able to continue his draw with, so the end could really hurt him in this factor. So we see here,
He did Sycamore. He used up his VS Seeker, or a decent amount of his VS Seekers in that turn.
which is okay. He just needs one, right? He needs
Right.
one for next turn to be able to do a knockout on whatever he wants. But it
And
also
with the
depends.
puzzles, yeah.
True, but I think that he had already used 2 puzzles so far this game. He played one in the beginning, and I think that he just discarded another one. So we'll be able to see here what his decisions will be. He's gonna go. He's gonna take the 2 prizes this turn. He's gonna get N down to 2. If Kieran even has it. I mean, like Kieran has 2 cards there. It looks like if Kieran even has the 2 cards that he needs. What Simon wants right now is he's like, I need to attach energy to somebody else, and it's looking like he's either
He does have the other Genesect ready, or almost ready to go, and he does have a Bronzong,
right.
so he can set that one up and knock out this one. But Simon's just setting up his other Rayquazas.
Well, that's the thing. Simon needs to get the energy because if he gets N to 2, and he will need he will need an ability, a way to get the energy attached. And if he doesn't have any attached, which as you see, he just took the knockout and took the prizes. But actually, Kieran does have the no, he trainers mailed here, and he does have the N in hand. So we're gonna see.
The Aegislash come back with the Fury Bell and the N being played. Simon being knocked down to 2 cards, he has to top deck those energy, and he has 2 more cards in his deck now.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's going to be really tough for him because if Kieran does attack with something other than an EX, like a non-EX, which is really, I mean, like he either hopes Simon doesn't get energy or a way to get energy, and then what are you going to do? You're risking it on that. Like I don't know if I'd risk my Nationals championship win on that, but his other option is to attack with a non-EXer that is still going to make him struggle later on. So it's a really tough decision for Kieran right now. He's really at a interesting state.
Yeah, now he's got to figure out if he's going to pump up that Aegislash with a manual attach and a Metal Lynx, or if he's going to try to get that Genesect and just go for the knockout.
See here that he's making a really tough decision. He's looking at
And
he's had like, this is the one decision I have to make. So
this is even like he's been stuck. We've seen in these streams where he just only has one Bronzong
you see,
with 2 Bronzors, 1 Bronzong. He keeps discarding them, and
that's true.
it's hurting him. And he's having to figure out what to Ultra Ball away. He's looking at his numbers, trying to figure out exactly what he can possibly draw after he does that.
And this is a point where even if Kieran, he ends right, he ends right there, and he's going to be able to take a knockout on this Mega Ray. And either Simon's going to come back and win the next turn, or Simon's going to go, okay, I'll pass the turn, and Kieran's then going to take another 2 prize cards. It's going to be down to a 2-2 match. So Kieran really is relying on that this end really got here, right? He wants to make sure that the cards are not very good.
And he does go and either Metal Lynx or manually attaches to the Genesect, throws him in the
He's
active.
He's going to go ahead and just take that knockout.
Which, you know what, it's fair, because he needs those prizes.
Yeah. He needs to make, he is going on that risk that the 2 cards in Simon's hand are bad, and that he is not going to have an answer to be able to continue play.
Interesting choice on Kieran's part. He is double Metal Linking to a Bronzong, so he looks like he's going to go for that Bronzong snipe on some Shaman.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, I mean, he's really in a rough position. He's not. If Simon, all Simon has to do is get the energy to attack and win.
Yep.
So Kieran has to look to, okay, I have a chance to maybe not get the knockout this turn. But actually, it looks like we've got right here. He did have a DCE, so now Simon's
looking at his discard. We do not know what his other 2 cards are just yet. It's a double VS Seeker, and he's going to Sycamore.
So he's going to Sycamore. So all he has to do is
Mega
get a
Turbo?
Mega Turbo.
It's another DCE.
Are you sure that he played Mega Turbos?
He did. I see. He played it earlier. There it is, and there is the Mega Turbo. And that is the game.
He shows the Mega Turbo, and he wins that one. So Simon's going to go ahead and take game 1.
Top decking 2 VS Seekers and a DCE off your end.
I'm not sure which he had, but I mean, like, Simon got the ideal cards that he needed to win, right? If I'm Simon and I see these 2 cards, then that is 100% what I want. And Kieran had to take that risk.
Yeah,
that was his option.
That was his only out.
Yeah, it's tough that Kieran got behind. He missed that turn of being able to return the KO, and Simon got the hex, so
The only thing that I was considering is maybe he should have metal linked and manually attached to the Aegislash and put it in the active and kind of
yeah,
force the hex out.
to
But
force it. But
yeah,
well, and actually would have made a big difference because Simon had the two. He had the DC and he had the VS Seekers, so he would have had to wait,
yeah,
right? He would have either okay, I have two VS Seekers. I'm either gonna VS because those were his last two.
yep,
I'm not sure how many puzzles he had left, so I guess that kind of made a difference.
yeah,
But he really was going to be at a position that you know I either get rid of both my last VS Seekers and now I'm stuck with this here, or either way, Simon got ideal what he needed, and he's gonna
yeah.
be
It just did not work out for Kieran.
so.
But
We're
that's
gonna go
only
ahead
game
and
one.
we'll be right back with their second game here in just one moment. All right, guys, we are back with game two. We see here Kieran chose to go first as the non-winner of last game.
He did mulligan twice against Simon. I
Yeah.
didn't see if he took both those cards.
I'm gonna assume that he did.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't he? He has a lot of cards to be able to just discard, like trainers' mails. Then he wants ultra balls, shamans, hoopas. I mean, like so many things to be able to just. Why wouldn't you take the free cards? It's not one of those decks that you wouldn't.
And we see Kieran actually ultra balling away an AZ and a VS Seeker, starting off with that low, like losing that resource.
Those resources, if that's your when you're stuck with those decisions, you're like, wow, this is already up to a rough start.
And I see that he has the Super Rod in his hand, so if he loses that and he loses those Bronzongs, they're stuck.
Yeah, and that's going to be... You never want to start with... That's the one thing with Super Rod is that...
You never want to see it in your opening hand.
Yeah, it's one just wasted card, and more than likely it's wasted for your whole deck.
Yeah.
Your whole deck, because you're going to just... Unless you have an N, you're discarding it.
Yep.
And you're not going to get any use out of it.
And I really think that Kieran is hoping to hit that N, putting Simon back down to 6 cards, but I think he hit a... Oh.
It looks like he has an N, but it looks like one of the newer Ns, but it's hard to tell. The cards in his hand are a little bit reflected.
He does hit Bronzor, he does hit an Energy. And see, he puts it on the Aegislash, which is a good call, and he does hit the
Go
end.
ahead and end.
That was a very, very clutch end for him to help him out this game.
And Simon did show us his hand. I didn't catch it really quick, but I think that Simon also had a really good hand too. I don't think he would have shown. I mean, like
a bad hand.
Well, if it was bad, he might have. But I feel like he was like, "Oh, I had it all right here."
And he's like, "Ah, there goes the turn one knockout. All right." But like as we've seen out of Simon's deck, every game we've seen him, he turn one goes. Like this last game was the slowest I think I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
And he still was able to just wreck it round 2.
True. I think that Kieran here is actually, it doesn't even look like he got a float stone, so he's gonna have to leave out the Genesect, and I don't think that that's what he wants to do. I think he wants to be able to promote the Aegislash. So.
And then I see in Simon's hand a.
Oh, he did get it.
There we go. He's gonna need to because Simon right now has a Hoopa. He has the Spirit Link, and he's just gonna go. It's gonna be a turn one.
Those are really
ride
that's
the
all
wave.
you need, right?
Yep,
that's all you need.
Yeah.
We see him.
And I would not be surprised to see a Mega Turbo DCE out of that
Right.
hand.
Oh, for sure. It's not going to be hard to get to that.
Mm-mm.
We see.
Kieran is trying to make the decision to use Genesec's ability to put the.
Oh, he's going to go ahead
Oh,
and
he
just
leaves
pass.
it out.
Yeah. He doesn't want to have to. I mean, like Simon, as we saw last game, he, like had he gotten that last energy, if he didn't need to attach the fire, he would have been able to go ahead and hex. He would have had it, easily. So we see he's going to go ahead and start with the Hoopa. He's going to probably get the 3 Shamans out right away.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the draw. He might.
He's going to go ahead and 2 Shamans.
He might get another Rayquaza out.
We'll have to see. He's looking at his hand, trying to decide.
I don't see a Skyfield yet, but with all those Shamans, I'm sure he's gonna find one.
Yeah, he'll at least draw into it, because more than likely he plays 4. He also has a Trainer's Mail in his hand, too, so.
I actually do see a Mega Turbo in his hand, too, which doesn't really help him right now. He kind of doesn't want to see it until after the Shaman are played.
That's true. But
That's just
even if I'm looking to Shaman and I'm Shamaning for 5, like in the 1 cards on Mega Turbo, I'm okay with it. I would still rather the guaranteed Mega Turbo when I have it. So
absolutely.
We'll see here what happens. We see he did go ahead and choose to take 3 Shamans, so we're going to be here a while. He's going to be drawing through a lot of stuff. We see.
And there
he's
goes
going to go ahead and play
Rayquaza.
the other Rayquaza. He's going to play the Spirit Link. He's
there goes the Mega.
And here we're going to see our first Shaman.
That ability to evolve turn.
Oh, he actually has the DC in his hands. Actually, he's going to only be able to Shaman for 2, it looks like.
He might burn this Trainer's Mail. He's going to try to get his hand as low as possible.
He's going to definitely Trainer's Mail before he Shamans.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe he's going to choose.
Maybe he's trying to filter for that Skyfield. He wants that guaranteed Trainer's Mail into Skyfield.
I feel like I would probably consider Trainer's Mailing ahead of time, but as we saw, the 3 cards he got wasn't a Skyfield. No. So unless this next one is, he's still getting put at a really interesting position. But once he does get the Skyfield, he's going to continue drawing. We see a Hex and an Escape Rope. This is not what he wants to see.
Yeah, he is not happy about this.
He's drawn into a lot of his tech cards and not the energy.
If this Gemsec survives turn 1, that's going to be huge for Kieran.
Yeah, that's going to be really good for him.
The Compressor. Oh, and the last card.
He has the Skyfield. He has 1 more Shaman left, but can he play on the rest of his cards?
He actually goes for the Compressor.
He's going to go for the Compressor. He also still hasn't played a supporter yet, so.
Yeah, but you know what he's doing? He's going for that fire energy. Yeah. He's gonna Mega Turbo
He's gonna Mega Turbo.
Yeah. He's gonna put some damage on
for sure.
Gemsec.
I think that he probably will still get the knockout at this point because he's gonna have. He still has another Shaman, right? So he's still gonna be drawing into a whole bunch of cards. So there's a lot of time, and not having played a supporter yet, he's gonna get the knockout. I have pretty good faith here.
There are very few decks that can get this many cards out and go through your deck so fast without playing a supporter.
And guarantee the knockout, right? He's doing so much damage. He could knock out any Pokemon that was in play. So
and being left with a 200 some odd HP Pokemon just ready to go.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Not at all.
So we see here that he got rid of an AZ, the Sycamore, and then that Fire Energy.
And that Fire Energy is going to be huge because he's going to Mega Turbo straight to the Mega Rayquaza.
Right.
Lysander's up this easy knockout.
So he's gonna take the easy knockout, no problem. He's gonna save himself he's gonna head draw theirs.
You know, that was a good play because now he burned another card out of his hand, making more use out of that Shaman.
Right, and
looking for that Skyfield.
And it's not Simon's gonna take through 3 X Prize cards. It's not gonna matter. The 3 X Prize cards are gonna be taken. He's gonna be able to have the Hex to go through the Aegislash. I think that Kieran's really not. He's not having a good time.
He is not having a good time.
He is not having a good time.
His best wall just gets turned off by Hex, and he's just or Lysander even.
Yeah, this is definitely ready to go through all of his stuff. So anyway, so we're gonna see. He goes ahead and takes the knockout on the Shaman. Kieran just goes ahead and promotes the Bronzor, and he's gonna attach the Metal Energy to the Aegislash. You see, Kieran might he's going to go ahead and he's probably going to N again, right?
Yep. So putting more cards back in Simon's deck.
But in this case, Simon still has a Shaman left. So, again, you're you're really fighting an uphill battle here. It's not going to be good for him. Like,
This was not the deck Kieran wanted to see going into finals.
true. I mean, like this is a really rough matchup.
Yeah,
if
and
if Kieran was going to lose to a deck, it was going to be Mega Ray. Like,
it's just
again,
so crazy to see Mega Ray out of
right?
nowhere
And why
just
would he
slide through this
expect?
tournament.
Yeah, he's not going to expect any of that. Nobody did.
No.
Well, I mean, nobody expect to see Mega Ray right here.
And that says a lot on Simon's part to be able to read the meta, know that it's going to be a lot of big basics, and he's just going to be able to Lysander and knock out without any problems. And he foresaw there wasn't going to be much electric.
Yeah.
And the one electric out there was the Mega Manectric.
Right. And Simon says he's like, you know, even if I fight against metal, if it is Mega Manectric, I'm gonna take 2 for 2, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna at least trade even. And he's like, if it's Night Mars, he played the Jirachi,
Yeah.
so he's looking like, okay,
He
gonna
had
be
all
able
the
to,
answers.
Yeah, he's like, he made it pretty easy. I mean, this was a great choice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was able to respond to everything.
Which is going to be interesting if people, thinking about that for U.S. Nationals.
Well, yeah. What decisions do you make?
Are you gonna see a Mega Rayquaza come out of there?
Are we gonna see? I mean, all of a sudden now Mega Ray's jumped up at $20 in price, right? It's so quickly.
See, Simon must have bought all of them, and now he's gonna vend them all out.
He knew. He's like, I have the plan. So we go ahead and see
another
N. Simon, unfortunately, didn't get a way to take another 2 prize cards, but that's good for Kieran. I mean, like, he's like, okay, I'm able to at least slow him down a little bit, but Kieran's still, I mean, he can't take a knockout on a Mega Ray coming back, so he had taken a knockout on the Bronzor, so, what are you going to do, right? I'm Kieran, I'm like, there's a Mega Ray one-shotting everything I have in play, and I can't one-shot it. Like, I can't. What are you going to do?
He's doing everything in his power to try to get that metal energy on that Aegislash.
Right, and even then, all it takes is the Hex,
or
and it's
Lysander,
over.
yeah.
Right.
And you see, he does have 4. I mean, like, he's going to be able to Metal Links again, which is great. Oh, but he puts it on the Genesect.
I think that he's going to try to... He needs to knock out this Mega Ray, right? So he's going to hope that either the Aegislash doesn't get knocked out.
Or walked around.
Right, and which, as we see, Simon has that ability. But Kieran then's like, okay, so I'm going to put damage on this with the Aegislash. Hopefully he can't knock me out. If he can, I'm at least going to have my Genesect to back it up.
Yeah.
And
this end may have just saved Kieran, because I looked at his hand and I did not see anything in particular. Oh,
there's
the VS Seeker. Okay,
so he's definitely going to be able to sack. And he's set up again almost for another Mega Ray,
yeah.
so...
This is just brutal.
It's just not in Kieran's
Simon's
favor,
just deciding if he wants to Lysander or if he wants the Hex.
He's actually
going for a Sycamore.
He's going to look Sycamore. I don't know if he had the Hex
for next turn.
In his... Maybe... I'm not 100% sure. Maybe he just didn't have the Hex in the discard pile, and so the Sycamore was his only option. It might have been last game that he had gotten the Hex in there, but if I remember correctly, when he Battle Compressored, he chose to Battle Compressor an AZ and not a Hex, so he didn't have the Hex to be able to probably VS Seeker for right there. So
see him targeting whistling up another Shaman.
See, he's going to go ahead and Ultra Ball. So this is actually what Kieran wanted to see, right? He knew that he was hoping that he couldn't get the Hex to be able to knock out the Aegislash or a Lysander to Lysander around it. So this is another, at least a free turn for Kieran, and a knockout on an EX, which is 2 prize cards, and that's in the right direction of what he wants to do.
Kieran is looking at that Aegislash and just like,
please
don't.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please stay there. We do see the next
Mega. Takes Simon to his one tech of Pokemon catcher, and Kieran is just tears. It's just so sad. The coin flip is.
That's the most that's the most stressful coin flip of his life.
Right, because it's Nationals win
or Nationals
second. Right, I mean, like, what are you gonna do?
And you just see Simon filtering out his hand, looking for the rest of his deck. I see 2 puzzles and a VS Seeker, so
Simon has
he has his discard at his disposal.
Yeah. He's looking through it to decide. I guess he might even consider right now. He's gonna Trainer's Mail, but I mean, if I were Simon, would I consider puzzle timing to try to get the Battle Compressor to get a Hex in the discard pile? It's kind of questionable. I mean, I would probably hold them for this turn, because you could do it next turn, as long as you kept your hand.
Yeah, don't show it.
But if Kieran gets rid of his hand, if he ends him again, he's
Yeah,
going to end into 3.
that's the one downside.
3 is a really interesting amount of
You draw into
cards.
4.
But, and now Simon no longer has shamans to play,
Yeah.
so it's very interesting on what the option is. However, if Simon kind of plays like, oh, maybe I don't have all the cards in my hand, what am I going to do? He's actually
Do we
looking
see
like...
the manual retreat? We do, and he actually throws up the hoopa.
Yeah, so, and that's okay. Simon's okay with that. He'll have another Mega Ray,
Mm-hmm.
and he's okay with that. He still has the DC attached to the other Mega Ray, and, Kieran's not going to knock out a hoopa. You see him go ahead and play a Battle Compressor. He's just going to start getting rid of more energy to be able to Meta Links, because he has to build somebody up. Kieran has to build somebody up to be able to one-shot. That's his only option. He got lucky that the last turn he was able to sit there with the Aegislash, because if Simon had gotten the Hex and was able to take the knockout, Simon's down to 1 prize. If Kieran couldn't end him to 1 prize, and even if he did, as we saw, Simon's board was, I have 2 Mega Rays. Kieran would just be too far behind.
Right,
So.
And Kieran's big problem right now is that if he puts Aegislash on the bench to try to Metal Links some more, he cannot get it back in the active this turn.
Right. So we see here that it doesn't even look like Kieran. He has a lot of options to choose from here. He's just trying to figure out
what's the best one.
What's the best plan from here? You're down 3 prize cards. You're down a game. It's getting really sticky for him.
It is.
Each decision he makes is a very important choice. It could make the difference between a win or a loss. And most of his decisions, he's basing off of what could be in Simon's hand. What is in his hand? I don't know, and I can make a choice a certain way that doesn't work out for me because of Simon having the answer to that. And it's just always heartbreaking.
And that's the downside when you are on the defensive. You are playing with what could he have, but you have to make a decision, and he could have anything, so you could guess wrong.
Right, so you're making one of the hardest decisions. You want to make what decision would be the best for you, and that's why Kieran's just going to take his time. He's a great player, so he's going to know. He knows what he wants to do. He has ideas for himself. So.
Yeah, you don't make it to second and not know your deck.
Yeah, that's for sure. And Kieran's in Topps Cut every tournament I think I've ever seen him play in. Yeah. So.
Oh, and it does look like he retreats the Aegislash and promotes the Genesect.
Yeah, so he's gonna look to. He has a.
It goes for the knockout.
He's gonna go ahead and get the knockout, because with the Fighting Fury Bell, he was able to do the 170. So.
And it's good that he's getting some prizes, but now Simon has a free 2 prize and goes down to 1. And there's a baby Bronzor over there, ready for the picking.
Right, look at the board.
Or anything.
Anything but Aegislash, and even Aegislash, it's again the Hex. So.
But you know what? It was a decision he had to make.
Right.
He's got to get some prizes.
Right, for sure. He has to take prizes, and that was the way to go.
If the Genesect for some reason lives, he can put a Floatstone on it and throw the Aegislash back up.
Right.
Pretty well charged, but it looks like
we see Simon's
some card counting right now.
I don't know, Simon. Zachary 14. He's trying to decide, I guess, what he wants to do here. He's got a lot of options. He's either going to not really do anything. He just takes the knockout, right? And he might look to manually attach somewhere else, but...
I think he's feeling pretty good. He's got the knockout, and then he does have 2 puzzle time for anything in his discard.
Correct. So, and also here, what we do see, Kieran does have a VS Seeker, so he will be adding Simon to 1.
Oh, and he does play
whatever Simon needs to do is he needs to guarantee himself the win on his board.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens to his hand, he still wins the game.
Putting the VS Secret back in his deck. Now, is he looking to put...
He's going to put that back in his hand, but essentially back into his deck.
Yeah.
Right. He's also looking to take the Lysander, and he's counting here in his head here what he's actually wanting to do. He might even... Is he looking to take the knockout on...
I don't see why you wouldn't take the knockout on the Genesect.
He's taking the Lysander in his hand to be able to Lysander next turn for the win.
Yeah.
He's actually looking to... He's going to
choice.
That's actually a very good choice right there, because he knows more than likely Kieran's going to set up to end him, right?
Yeah.
So one. So it's actually a really good choice to take that bronze on knockout. One, it stops him from Kieran being able to, one less energy acceleration.
Which is huge.
Right. Two, it puts him at 2 prize cards, so he's going to have more odds to draw good things. So that was definitely the great play to play.
Yep, and here comes the end that Simon knew was coming.
Right, for sure. And now he has all those choices. He still took a VS Seeker in his hand, so VS Seeker back in his deck, and
And now
Kieran,
it just comes down to what 2 cards Simon's gonna get.
Kieran either he's gonna have to attack with Data Slash this turn. If he doesn't, he's gonna have to attack with a non-EX, or otherwise, I feel like he's not gonna be in his favor. All Simon needs is a Fire Energy.
Yep.
Or a DC. I mean, he just needs the energy. But he's not going to show us the 2 cards. He's going to just go ahead and sit him down. Mostly he just doesn't want to show Kieran, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to give him the facial expression, oh, I've got it right here.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing, just to reiterate, was he took 1 prize because he knew an end was coming, so he guaranteed himself an extra card.
An extra card, absolutely.
And the win anyway, because there's a Shaman on board, so he's just looking for that Lysander or the VS Seeker.
And overall, there's no reason not to put yourself... He knows that he has this game, right?
Yeah.
He's so far ahead, I think that... Even if, right? What if he didn't... What happens if the 2 cards in his hand are really bad? So he sends up another EX to just wait for the knockout.
Yeah. He does have to wait through this Aegis Slash, though, which is a problem if he does not hit the VS Seeker. And it looks like...
He didn't have it.
I see a DCE.
By his body language, you can tell that he said he didn't have it, but he drew into a puzzle of time.
At least he can look at the top 3 cards, worst comes to worst, and set himself up for next turn.
True. And then at that point, if you're Kieran, do you end again? Because what if those 3 cards aren't good, but then you set yourself into...
But you know that something probably is coming, and
right.
Do you risk it?
But you end him to something better. But if I'm Simon, I'm going to go ahead and... There's the Hex right there. It was 2 cards below. He's going to set it...
on top.
He knows that Hex... Well, this is the thing, is that the active... Ray is going to get knocked out, so he's actually not in a really good position here.
Oh, right, because he does need that fire energy.
He needs both, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually not good for him, and which is actually really bad. Like, really bad is that Simon was at the point, his 3 cards he drew 2 because of the end to 2, and drew a 3rd. He had an Ultra Ball. So had he not had all 4 Shamans in play already, that was a free 6 cards, which definitely would have won him the game.
Absolutely.
Like, he has a lot of odds at that point, and that's the thing, is that is why he wanted to take the 1 prize card knockout and not the 2 from the turn before.
I think Kieran is seeing an out here. It looks like he is trying to pump up that Bronzong, because both of the
Rays have so much damage on them.
He could snipe them.
To snipe them out, yeah, for sure.
And he could snag the win if Aegis Slash is able to shield his way through. That would be crazy.
And exactly what Kieran needed to do. He needed to end him and hope Simon didn't draw him good. Just like he tried the turn before. The game before it worked out better for Simon, and this game it's working better for Kieran. Yeah. So we may actually see a game 3 here. That's going to be very interesting. And, especially because we know, if Kieran doesn't shuffle Simon's deck, we know Simon's next 3 cards. The next 3 cards
are not
good. They're not good for Simon. Like, he had the DCE, the Hex, and the Jirachi.
Which are doing nothing, especially with the Bumblebee in the active.
Yeah, so...
I mean, it was a good move on Simon. He's stopping the prizes,
yeah, but I mean...
He lost another fire energy.
What are you going to do? Simon couldn't have done anything, right? He literally has to sit with those options here. So, pretty much, I think, if I'm Simon, I'm going to draw my next card, which is the DCE, I believe is what he put on top. I would hold the DCE in my hand and just pass. So... To me, I'm letting Kieran think, okay, maybe what was in my hand isn't so good, and then the next turn he draws the Hex and he wins. But other than that, Simon's just really just waiting until it's his time. And if Kieran, normally when somebody puzzles time, right, they're going to put something on the top of their deck that they want.
Yeah.
Or that they're going to use, and if I'm Kieran and my opponent takes something and then isn't doing anything, I'm thinking, okay, why would they put something on top they didn't want? So I would probably assume, okay, he's holding something, he needs the next card as well. So And of course, if Simon had a supporter in those three, he would go ahead and put it. Is he going to go ahead and bronze on? He does have the break in his hand, so he's calculating it right now. He's only 2 cards left in deck, though. 3 cards left. So he's looking to.
It's been pretty crazy. He's been able to attach 3 energy this turn, which is
a good
double
amount.
bronze metal links, and then the manual attach.
So here's actually another case where had Simon taken the 2 prize card knockout, he would be down to 1 prize. So Kieran is now going to promote the single prize that Simon could have taken, and so it's really comes down to now which direction should you have gone. It just so happened to work out that the end was not very good for him.
And he actually takes out one of the Mega Rays.
Right, and that's definitely what he wants to.
Oh yeah, you gotta focus him.
But like you said, Simon is stuck with a Bunnelby in the active position right now.
And that hurts. Like,
yeah.
He is not doing anything with this. When we saw the next cards, he's not doing anything with it.
Doing anything. So I think that Kieran is winning this.
What a crazy comeback if he does.
But Kieran has 3 cards left in deck.
So he's got to make it happen now.
Well, he's Simon's going to go ahead and mill the 2 cards.
Oh no.
So that's okay.
So he literally has to do it now.
Does Kieran have Via Seekers left to
Lysand or something? And where's the energy to do it?
Even he's got to be able to Lysander right here and knock out that Mega Ray. If he could do it, he would just do it, right?
He does have a Lysander in hand, so he should have it. Triple Metal Link, Lysander, and that's the game.
Right, okay. He was just kind of...
Just making sure the numbers were there.
He was very hesitant on that decision there, because I feel like if you have the Lysander, you have 3 Metal Links, you're going to be able to
He just wanted to make sure the math was real.
Yeah, that's true.
And now we're going into game 3.
How crazy is that? Because it was so... I mean, Simon
did not expect that. Those ends...
The end really...
Jirachi and N have been the cards for every deck right now that have just been coming in and saving them.
Well, N really and truly always has been a real hassle for the game, right? Everybody was so happy when N was out of standard, and then it got reprinted because you take away. The game used to be very skill based, where once you were heading prize cards, once you were very aggressive and you were able to take prize cards, you more than likely won. There was nothing to really disrupt your hand to take away your win. And now you could be dominating someone. There's so many times where people have 1 prize card left, they get N to 1, and then they lose.
It's obliterated.
There's nothing they can do. So
you know what though? I think that just makes you focus more on making sure you end up with taking 4 versus 5 prizes.
That's true.
Unless, of course, you're playing a deck that doesn't have really many EXs, like maybe like a Greninja. And then there's not much you can do about that, but I mean that's a part of the game.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for Simon that he made the decision to take the 1 prize card knockout, so he would get N to 2. The 2 cards he didn't get were any useful for him, but
it was still a good play.
Right, had he taken the 2 prize cards and got N to 1, Kieran wouldn't have been able to attack with the Bronzor. He would have had to attack with somebody else. So it's really a tough decision for both. I mean, Kieran did awesome, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so did Simon.
And he played down to literally the last card of his deck.
Right? And so, if I'm Kieran, I'm thinking, okay, I think I might actually have this. And if I'm Simon, I'm kind of like, okay, that was rough, but what are you going to do, right? You get ends and you can't make a choice. It comes down to what you draw. You have odds, and they were not in his favor, right?
Yeah. And good job on Kieran though, holding it, playing it through the ends, and just getting to that last play.
And
and
it's going to be tough.
We still have 26 minutes left, so we are going to see more than likely
We're going to see a full game.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially because Simon's taking 2 prize cards it's like a 4-turn game, right? Yeah. It's like that's how many turns are in the game for him, and that's what he was looking for. And Kieran's wants a couple more turns, but it's still going to be interesting.
He plays both his cards face up, showing...
Once Simon had played his basic, Kieran's like, okay, I'm going to commit to this active, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just funny.
Make a difference. Yeah. We see here...
Which...
Simon did opt to go first in this.
With Simon going first, do you commit to not having Aegislash up front? Is it just so that we can make sure you can try to get those metal links? Oh, well, with him not being able to attack...
He's not going to be able to attack, so yeah.
Evolve but not attack.
Yes. Yeah, so that's not a problem for him.
Yeah, he's good.
We see here actually looks like.
I think that's the longest I've seen Simon think about something this game.
Yeah, his hand doesn't look that good. Oh,
Oh, there's the
okay, there
compressor.
we go. He literally, yeah, look at him, he's shaking his head. He's like, oh man, this was just insane because he had a VS Seeker and it looked like maybe a target whistle and looked like the stadium, the memory stadium, to be able to use the um, lower quasi instead of using the mega, and, which was actually, I think that's the first time I saw it. Maybe I'm not sure, the cards were a little questionable, but that really mattered to be
Yeah,
able to
that
draw
top
that.
that
He
top
had to
deck
get that. Had he not gotten that, he's like
and pass.
pass.
That would have been
Right,
crazy.
and you definitely don't want to
And you see the
pass.
and the fire and the hex, which just makes perfect sense
Right,
for Simon.
and Simon, this game, he's like, I'm putting this hex in the discard
Oh,
pile.
immediately.
I am going to get to make sure I fight through these
Yeah.
Aegis Slash, because that's what lost him the
Yep.
game.
He
Is
put early on.
having
He put that AZ in the active or in the discard,
in the
instead
discard.
of the hex, and that
And
hurt him.
it also depends. Simon's hex could have been prized last game, but I feel like he plays two. I feel like he plays two. If I'm Simon, I'm playing two because the only thing that beats
Stop.
me is Aegis Slash. So I'm gonna play two
Oh yeah.
for sure. So we'll see here. He could have had, you know, he. Who am I to speak, right? I'm not the top two in Canada Nationals right now, so we'll see what happens.
We can only speculate.
Yeah. So they're both gonna draw six, which actually gives Kieran a free card. You know, I mean, he's gonna have. He had played two bench Pokemon or bench active in the bench, so he got a free card out of it. So Kieran's like, okay. But we see here Simon. He
Pulling a
did go
puzzle
ahead and
of
take a
time.
puzzle of time, so I think that he's gonna have that explosive turn that he's always been having. So
It's just crazy how this deck is able to pull it off of a top deck,
right,
one card setup.
one card makes that difference, and that's how good Battle Compressor really is, right? It's able to just completely change like your hand.
Yeah.
You have a VS Seeker and you're like, I don't have a supporter. Or you're like, I have all this other stuff and I just need to have the energy in the discard pile. Or, for instance, in Night March, you need to have the Pokemon in the discard pile. So Battle Compressor is pretty useful in pretty much every deck.
Yeah, just being able to filter your deck out and just getting out cards that you don't need.
I mean, endless things that are good
or
for
putting
it.
or putting supporters in your discard with that VS Seeker. Like it's such a good card.
Yeah.
And we do see double puzzle going for a trainer's mail and the VS Seeker, which makes
VS
sense.
Seeker for sure. His hand is not looking.
This is the slowest
so
start. Unless he hits an Ultra Ball and goes for that Hoopa, I'm not seeing much happening in his hand.
Which another big key component for his deck.
And the last card.
Oh my, that is insane.
The last card. Simon's feeling a little better now.
He has a escape rope and actually
Skyfield.
well, he has the Sacred Ash, so we're gonna see which one he's gonna choose to discard at this point. He's opting to go ahead and get rid of. He's gonna choose looking maybe the VS Seeker and the escape rope.
Such a tough call because those VS Seekers are extremely important.
Right, you're never gonna know what's. You make one decision and it really makes a difference of what happens. A win or a loss. A win or a loss. A decision you make could be the difference between a win or a loss. So.
And I do see escape rope being very important in this deck.
Oh yeah, especially to get around the Aegis Slash.
But compared to that VS Seeker though, it's a really tough call.
Yeah, it's a tough call. So we go ahead and see. He's gonna go ahead and take actually one Shaman and the Ray and the Mega Ray. So
I just don't think he wanted another Shaman sitting in his hand when he's setting up.
Well,
he feels that he can get another one.
He's gonna be able to set up for a lot more here.
We see three VS Seekers.
That's gonna actually be very interesting. He might.
The fourth VS Seeker. He's looking for an end.
Yeah. Well, he has the end in his discard pile. That was his first.
Yeah.
What he chose to play first. So, it's definitely tough.
Taking the puzzle just to filter the deck. Maybe hits the second one. Maybe hits the fourth one.
If I'm Simon, I'm not playing my second puzzle right here. I don't need to. I'm not going to get to attack this turn. And yeah, his turn wasn't as explosive as he wants to see, but I'm not going to play that puzzle because I've already played two. And
the fourth VS Seeker shows up again in the trainer's mouth.
Those nice old VS Seekers too. He's playing with style. So he's going to go ahead. Looks like he's taking the Mega Turbo, I'm assuming is what he took. He's going to play the Mega Turbo? Yes. Okay, so he's gonna go ahead and play the Mega Turbo and attach there. So he's just looking for the DC for
And
next turn.
that
And
looks like it's. Is that the end of Simon's turn?
not that that's a bad thing. It's
Is there
just
3 puzzles at a
I
time?
did.
There is. There's.
Oh,
So
so he
that's the
already.
4th
So there,
one.
he's like, I'm getting rid of it. I was wondering whether he had already played the 3, because then I would
Yeah.
play it. But if
Oh,
I
yeah.
had an option to play another one, I wouldn't. Because
He gets to look at the top 3. Looks to make sure in case he doesn't want to end next turn for whatever reason. He's got a good next card, but more than
Correct.
likely we're gonna see an end next turn.
Right. Unless, I mean, it just depends on what those 3 cards were. I didn't get a chance to see
Yeah,
them, so
we've already seen him top deck the one thing he needs, so maybe he's doing it again.
He's gonna go ahead and just see. This is Kieran's now first turn, and uh, Simon didn't have as big of a turn that he had the last 2 games. So Kieran's like, okay, this is good for me. I could win this still. Like, it could be either player's game at this point, which is great because who doesn't want to see a great finals?
And throwing in that hex in his discard, obviously to get rid of it because it may not be important, but it might because Simon's only played 2 Shaman.
Right, and
That hex might slow him down.
Correct, and Simon's looking to get the rest of his Shaman on the board. He needs them to be able to do the damage that he's trying to do. So we're gonna go ahead and see if he's going to discard for his 3rd card. He's discarded the AZ and the Battle Compressor, or I'm sorry, the AZ and the Hex from the Battle Compressor. So he's looking to discard. He's trying to make a choice. And we see he's going to go ahead. He's either. Did he only. Well, must have only just discarded 2 off of the Battle Compressor. I'm really shocked on why he didn't get rid of another metal. Unless he discarded 3 and I just didn't see it, but
It looks like he ultra balled a couple away.
he did not Ultra Ball 1. He won in the Bronzong, so I don't know. I'm not sure. He probably did 3 cards and I just didn't see the other one. He stacked them on top of each other, so.
And the 7-card Sycamore.
Sycamore. That's really great for him. He got another Battle Compressor, another
Bronzor. 2 Bronzors. And a Bronzong.
Maybe he didn't. The Bronzor might have been what I thought I saw as another Battle Compressor, but I can't really tell. The light is hitting him at just the right spot. But Kieran is also just gonna pass, which is not also good for him.
Yeah, I can see him not.
It's still okay though. He's got 3 Bronzer in play.
Yeah.
He's forcing Simon to have to Lysander to take an EX prize card, so he's gonna end.
And he's gonna end, yeah, of course.
He's gonna end the way. He's not gonna be able to take a knockout, so there's no point in Lysandering. So
and this hurts Kieran because he kept that Bronzong in hand, I think, to make sure it didn't get knocked out. But now it's back in the deck.
It was his first turn, so he couldn't evolve anyways.
Oh wow!
It was just the first turn, right?
This game's taking so long. This first turn.
The turns, they're so long. It's like just insane. So we're gonna go ahead and see.
That's true. There's not 20 Pokemon on Simon's side yet,
right.
so it has to only be turn 1.
It's only turn 1. So Simon, depending on what he draws here, he's not gone through a whole lot of stuff, but he still has all the options. But he's going to be taking 1 prize card. So he's going to be fighting he's either going to play a 7 prize card game, which you never want to play as a Pokemon player. You want to play only 6. Or he's going to have to take another single prize card. So more than likely, you're playing that 7 prize card game.
Yeah, and for Simon, he's not used to taking. I don't see him being used to taking 1 prize card per turn. He's usually sniping out EXs left and right.
He wants to just go ahead and take, the EX prizes, the easy EXs, Shamans, simple things like that, and that's probably what he's been seeing the whole time.
We do see Kieran playing the Super Rod, getting some Bronzors back in the deck.
Yep. And he had to put back that metal energy, so now I think that he doesn't have any metal energy in his discard pile, so. We did get informed that Josh won the seniors. It'll be up in the news category for him, but Kieran went ahead and played the Floatstone, and he's just going to go ahead and Sycamore again. This is still...
His 8/ is getting pumped up pretty good, though. For the lack of Bronzongs on the board, 3 energy, turn 2.
Correct, and, that's great for Kieran. That's exactly what he wants to see. He's going to be able to put damage on this Mega Ray and have the ability to knock it out for the next turn and Simon is going to be then taking, possibly not even take a prize card because it's against the Aegislash. So Simon doesn't have an answer to the Aegislash. He's just going to be like, okay, so you put a whole bunch of damage on my Ray, and I took one prize card for that. So this is not ideal for him.
And he did have the choice between a Max Elixir or an Ultra Ball, and he did choose the Ultra Ball, throwing away a Lysander.
It looks like maybe he has two ends in his hand. He has two different ends. He's trying to decide which one.
Yep.
Oh, he got rid of the pretty one, man.
That may hurt him later.
That's a tough decision to play here. We see him go ahead and get the bronze on. Obviously, he wants the Metal Links.
Oh,
he wants to put more damage on the board here.
He wants to make sure that Mega Ray is going down.
Right. We see he's going to go ahead. He did get a Fighting Fury Belt, which another card that he's really excited to see.
Yeah, because if a Hex does happen, he wants to try to make that Aegislash survive as long as possible.
Yeah,
or just do more damage.
Right, right, for sure.
It's all about the numbers.
So we see he is going to go ahead and get the Metal Links. He's going to go ahead and attach the Fighting Fury Belt, and he's bringing out that Aegislash, and he's going to put the damage on it just like he wants to.
And this forces Simon in a bad spot, too, because now he either has to Hex to do damage, and it's going to stop him from Sycamoring, or he's going to Sycamore and not do damage.
Right.
I mean, he has the VS Seekers, but he doesn't even look happy about it.
I think that I'm not sure what he's doing here. He was waiting to be able to see his discard pile, and for whatever reason...
All of his trainer's mails are in the discard.
Yeah, this is also a very interesting thing. Because if it goes, okay, we have 14 minutes left in this game. More than likely, we're going to see a completion of this game.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. If it does come down to time is called, and who's ahead in prize cards at the end of 3, I think Simon has that better chance to be ahead in prize cards, even though he has to play that 7 prize card game. So we see him go ahead and he's going to go ahead and Sycamore, so he's not. Oh, that is just not ideal for him.
Did he Sycamore those away?
He Sycamored 2 VS Seekers away. He had to VS Seeker for Sycamore, discard 2 VS Seekers, and now he's not going to get the knockout on the Aegislash.
What is Simon's deck doing?
Yeah, right now is not the time to fail. You do not want to see...
Game 3 of Nat's Finals. And, you know, I think Kieran's starting to look a little happy right now. Like, you can see that he's leaning a little more forward.
Yeah, he's like, I can do this. And it's just unfortunate because, you know, Simon is like, okay, I don't even have enough Pokemon on the field to be doing what my deck needs to do. And he's going to go ahead and just promote the Jirachi.
This is nothing for him.
This is definitely what he wants to do. He wants to force Kieran to have to Lysander, and which he is, which is okay. But Simon could essentially make Kieran play that 7 prize card game as well, so we'll be able to see.
Kieran takes 2 prizes. He is actually ahead in prizes for the first time in this game.
Finals.
In the last game. Kieran is making that metal comeback.
Yeah. Okay, now. And Simon's lost 3 VS Seekers, maybe all 4.
He does have a close. He does have a Mega Turbo. But does he have the VS Secret to Hex? I don't think so. If this Aegislash goes down, though,
it'll be. We see everybody's congratulating the other winners. He doesn't have.
No, he's got a target whistle.
I think that has the funnel bee in his hand too.
And the Sky Return. Great play, just to get more cards in his hand.
Wait, he's gonna retreat, bring out the Shaman, Sky Return.
Now he's got to figure out what is active.
All 4 VS Seekers are in his discard pile.
That hurts.
I think that.
Does Aegislash just take it now?
I think that Kieran just
auto wins.
It depends if Simon plays 2 Hex or not. Because he's not getting back the one that's in the discard pile. He's been through all 4 of his...
Oh, man. He went too aggressive in the first turn and is now seeing the results.
He had no choice. His deck just dumpstered on him. So unfortunate for him. But Kieran's really looking happy now, right?
Dude,
at the beginning of the start, would I have thought that Kieran was going to win this game? No. And absolutely not. I did not see Kieran winning. I mean, like, how crazy is that? The turns that just took and what's going to
And
happen here.
does Simon even have his puzzles anymore? I think he played all
Played all
those.
four.
So he
All
lost
four.
all of his puzzles. He's lost
Yeah.
all his VS Seekers.
We
I do
see
not
here,
see a
he's got
hex.
an
Oh,
AZ.
I think I might have seen a hex.
We have an AZ and possibly a hex scissor, right in the middle.
Yeah,
right in the middle of his deck. So, yep, I confirm. Wait, did he have is there a VS Seeker on the top of his deck? Oh, you know, he might actually have one more VS Seeker too.
He's praying.
Oh, if he has another VS Seeker, then okay.
Yeah.
This is still possible for Simon. We're gonna see. Yeah, he does have a VS Seeker.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
there is
it was
one.
there was only 3 in the discard pile, so it must have been another trainer with blue on it. So this is actually still Simon can still win this game.
Possible,
It's gonna be tough,
but difficult.
Yes, it's gonna be definitely difficult. We see, but Simon is also getting in the position with a VS Seeker and the Hex. That's 2 turns of hexing that he can do. And as long as he has the Mega Ray to be able to take the prize cards, which now he's going to start shamaning, he's not going to be able to be end. He has 5 prize cards. He's putting himself in an okay position to not be able to not guarantee himself the win.
Yeah.
The only issues that he has right now is he's either going to retreat his Rapaza again, which you never want to have to waste the energy to retreat right there.
Those energies going away hurt each time.
Right. But he's going to put Simon in, he's going to put Kieran in a position of the 7 prize card game. So it's whatever decision that he's trying to make. We see he's going to be able to Ultra Ball. He's going to get another Ray, and he has the DC in his hand. So he's going to be able to start building up another Ray.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing the opposite of the spectrum, that Simon is going to want to end Kieran into a bad
Yeah.
And
and is just such a huge factor in these games.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
You never know when you're going to get an end out of your win, pretty much, right? And that's what happened to Simon.
Yeah.
Simon's win of the Nationals was taken away by Ed. Who'd have thought? What a trolley bud. He's not nice.
He is not. He is unforgiving.
Yes. So we go ahead and see. He took the Hoopa.
Yeah.
Hoopas for 3 more.
So his bench is filled up again, so now he is in knockout range.
He's going to start taking prize cards, for sure.
It's just unfortunate. He's got one more turn before he can do it.
Right.
Which, that's a pretty important turn.
Yes and no. I mean, like, he's okay. He's still okay. I think it's still going to be okay. But Kieran, Lysanders, and wins. And also, Simon only has 4 cards left in deck. Like, oh, man. This is going to be tough.
I'm not going to lie. After that first game, I did not expect such an intense game 3.
I did not either. This is literally...
Each decision holds Nationals in the balance.
And maybe Simon, maybe Simon can't attack with another... If Simon runs out of energy here, maybe? I don't remember... When he went in with the Hoopa, I don't know if he was able to see... I maybe don't know. I'm not sure what's the conversation here. I don't know what's going on.
I think there's a judge ruling going into effect. They're just making sure that the order of play cards are right.
I think that he thinks that he has extra cards in his hand, but I don't believe that he did.
Oh, I think they were wondering if he had attached this turn, maybe? Because that was the card that he was looking at.
I am not sure. He didn't attach, so...
He did hit the VS Seeker and the Hex.
Yes, but I think he already played his...
He did play support. He did, yeah. So he can't do it this turn, but he is in a pretty good position. Yeah. Now he just has to make sure that he can get that fire energy.
He has... Wait, is he...
I'm pretty sure he already Sycamored.
I'm not sure...
Did he Sycamore this turn?
If he didn't, that's insane. I can't remember.
The turn was so long, I can't remember.
There's so many things on the thing, so... I'm not sure. We'll be able to see
He didn't. Okay, I don't think... Maybe he didn't. That's crazy.
He did supporter? Oh, wow.
Wow, that is intense.
What a change.
Yeah.
Right like that.
I was under the impression that turn that he had already Sycamored.
But I don't, like
wow,
you said, I don't remember.
That is a game changer.
Was it not that did he not Sycamore? Did he not Sycamore the 3 VS Seekers away this turn?
I thought so.
I thought that was this turn too.
Maybe that was last turn.
That's a really questionable thing. Maybe they should look up to check to see if that actually happened or not. I don't know if that was this turn or if it was the turn before, but it really is going to make the difference of whether this is a win or a loss.
I mean,
so,
Simon is down to like 5 or 6 cards. So, but
And-
that turn was so long. It may have just been
the end, no, it was last turn. Sycamore was last turn.
okay.
So
Okay.
it's questionable. I'm not sure. The turn was so long.
Yeah, these have been very intense turns. Just
Yeah.
very lengthy.
And we're not sure. We definitely don't want Kieran to be if he had played 2, it's better to just check than to not have Kieran, to have his win taken away from that.
And you want to make sure.
Right. And the turn was so long, so
Though
I think that it's still okay for them to continue.
Okay.
So we'll see here.
It looks like we are gonna check.
We got Kieran's checking his discard pile, and they're trying to look here of what's going on. So we're gonna go ahead and pause and then see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, we did get to confirm that it was the turn before, so it's actually good that just to make sure that there wasn't any foul play here. The issue is now that it's still Simon still continues his turn. And they're going to go ahead and continue play.
And now it's
So we see
Kieran looking through the discard just once again, getting confirmation on numbers.
there's still.
That hex last turn.
I think does that win Simon the game?
I don't see where Kieran can go with this. That Egg Slash was his ace in the hole, and now it's in his discard.
And we see that, I think that even doesn't Simon still have the VS Seeker in his hand?
He does.
Yeah. So
even if another Egg Slash comes in, I think that hex was the victory.
Kieran doesn't have the VS Seeker in his hand. Kieran doesn't have a VS Seeker to get rid of Simon's hand, and now Simon has the VS Seeker to be able to Lysander essentially anything. Does that give him the win?
I think so. The Genesect will be able to do some damage and get 2 prizes, but I mean, if Simon gets another energy on his other Mega, that's game.
Right. And Simon is at a position to just take the knockout on the Bronzong and then knock out whatever. But if Kieran, they're just double checking discard piles.
League Challenge Masters, round 4.
We see they're double checking to see what cards are what, and now they both want to see both discard piles, and so they're trying to decide here to figure out what cards are left in their deck. So this is a very interesting thing. It looks like Kieran, I think, just passed his last turn. Is that essentially what happened? And now they're doing some other kind of discussion.
I really see this just turning into Simon knocking out the Bronze or the Bronzong, and then Kieran promoting the Genesect, and that's all she wrote.
That's it.
As long as Simon can get that fire energy or another energy.
He has the fire energy in his hand.
Oh, then yeah, that's it.
So there's really nothing that can be done. We see that he is going to go ahead and take the knockout on the Bronze.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to.
I mean, I guess it just depends on Kieran draws off the top of his deck here. Really determines whether or not.
He asks for cards in hand.
And Simon has the VS Seeker in his hand as well, so that confirms it, that he'll be able to take.
He's getting 2 prizes. That's just.
But one thing too, if Kieran takes the knockout this turn on the Mega Ray, Simon would need a Spirit Link
True.
to
He
be
does not
able
have a
to
Mega.
evolve into the Mega to still be able to attack. So maybe it's not that simple.
He may have some turns left.
There's still some turns left. And he attaches the Fighting Fury Belt. We see he's going to go ahead and check the discard pile. He's trying to find out what Simon has left. What are those last cards that he has, and what he has left. Simon also, I believe he still has one Shaman left, so he's able, as long as this happens in the prizes, he's able to guarantee him those last 4 cards. So if he has win in those last 4 cards, then that's what
He has a good chance to get them.
Yeah. So we see Kieran didn't.
Looks like he's sticking more away his hand.
Right. So he's didn't change Simon's hand at all. So we'll be able to see.
Going through the discard one more time just to make sure he has those numbers in mind.
He doesn't seem like he's too happy. He doesn't seem like he's very confident in what's going to happen here.
You do see a megaphone, but unfortunately, it's a kind of a mistime right now if he plays it.
The megaphone, not really.
It stops the Hoopa.
The megaphone's going to stop the Hoopa from having free retreat. So he's forcing Simon to make a tough decision.
On what is that active?
Right. If Simon doesn't have the guaranteed win, and Kieran wouldn't know that, right? So
right.
He's like, okay, so if he's trying to promote the Hoopa to try to play other cards to see what his outs are, he's not going to be able to have that free retreater.
And you see Simon, or you see
Kieran's
going for the Shaman.
He's going to get a Shaman.
Metal Links to the Genesect.
Metal Links.
Elixirs for a
Doesn't
miss.
Hit it. But he is able to go ahead and one-shot. This is so tough. This is so close. It's so insane.
It's crazy how this game can go either way in a second.
And what a great game to have.
And
it
goes to a 2-prize game on both sides.
We see Simon's going to go ahead and
he's going for the attack. Can he get the Spirit Link? Does he have a Spirit Link?
He might not even have one left. We see he has the Fire Energy. So Kieran is able to do, if he discards all the energy that he has, again, I don't know how many Max Elixirs he's played. I have no idea. He's able to do 190 damage just based on the cards that he has on the board. Which, if Simon chooses this turn, okay, I am going to just go ahead and Mega, then...
Oh, it's not in there.
But he does have the Shaman to guarantee.
Is it? Was it? Oh,
there's the Spirit Link. Okay, there it is.
The
so he did have the Spirit Link. So, and he, if he knew he had the Spirit Link, he went ahead.
Yep.
He might not have known.
He
I think he
Ultra
Balled to double check. I don't think he. If he didn't Ultra Ball. There's a delay from the crowd. The delay. They didn't know, but he did end up having the Spirit Link. So. Mega Ray did take it. How insane
crazy
is that?
Game. That Hex Maniac, that surge.
The turn that he didn't play the supporter and then was able to Hex, like he got through so many cards. The turn was so lengthy that he was able to Hex and take that knockout. It changed the whole game.
It was almost impossible for us to even believe there was.